Okay, Chris came over and had a great day out fishing. And I'm like, hey, before you start telling me about it, let me turn on the camera because we're gonna start getting all this stuff on film all the time. Excuse me. Went out to the west wall. He sent me some pictures. I sit here all day. I'm working on the computer. Get a text. Comes from Chris. It's a picture of a gigantic snook, a gigantic red. I'm like, oh God, I really need this to stop. This is killing me. But this time he's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna send you some pictures and tell you about the fishing. So we came over and West Wall, Chris Taylor.
All right, guys. Like we said, we're down here babysitting paradise for you. And while I was out babysitting, I found some fish. And down the West Wall, it's very, very productive. The flats, I tell you, they're as beautiful as you've ever seen them. The sand holes are very, very clear. The water has a little tannic in it after we've got this rain, which is causing the fish to push more. I think it's now pushing the fishes out of the rivers and stuff now because of the rain. That's what we've been waiting on. We've been waiting on our June rain. We didn't get our June rain. Now it's June.
Yep.
Here comes the June rain. Boom, we're getting the push.
And, and that's good for the freshwater people too. I mean, freshwater, the fresh rain's coming down, the lakes are filling up, they're overflowing into estuaries that are, bass are loving it. But sorry about that, go ahead. West Wall, big fish.
West Wall. Now these fish are starting to push down the wall farther. So we went down farther, more towards Boca, down towards Cape Hayes Point, and around that area, Cape Hayes Point, Turtle Bay, all that area right now is going to be just gorgeous. I mean, these fish are all going to push around that area, and you should be able to catch anything from, let's see, we had multiple flounder today, over 15 inches. We had multiple trout today, over 15 inches. We had multiple snook, over 33 inches. We had redfish that were right in the take-home area. Every last one of them.
All slots, huh?
Everything is how can you want to eat that one? Do you want to eat, letting them go. Today was a catch and release, fun day. I mean, we had a blast just catching and releasing and taking pictures. I mean, you'll see a photo maybe later on of one of the bigger snook that came up and sucked my lure in so hard.
You'll see them all.
That it basically was almost down his throat. So
I saw that one. Definitely. As a matter of fact, don't I have it on the table there? Grab that pack there. I grabbed 2 packs because I wanted to prove a point here. Now, Chris hands me the real ones, and I'll take the fake ones because here you don't even like to touch it. Now, this is what happened. He called me up one day and he's like, let's go fishing. He's like, now remember, I'm getting the electric chicken. He started telling me the name of them and all that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, electric chicken. So I went down and I bought these ones, look pretty. I got them for I think $1.50 or something, and these were, what are these, saltwater assassins? And electric chicken though, it says it right there on the bottom. And so we go out to his fishing hole and he's casting, he catches like snook, and then he catches a couple of reds, caught a flounder. We even had a picture of that, well, I'll put that with this video too. And I'm like right next to him with these. I mean, he's even like cast right next to my bait. I'm doing right next to his, he catches a snook.
Show the difference in the color, because and it's not really, folks, pull one of those baits out, okay? The reality is not just the color and just the sparkles and stuff in this, but watch, grab the tail, Frankie.
Oh, yeah, well, that's it. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's done. Yeah, well, that broke.
I mean,
yeah, that's
how far do you want a fish to grab onto your bait? And this thing is rubbery, and it's got the feel when they bite into it. It just feels like a bait fish,
And I'll tell you what, if you look at the color, and let me get a fresh one. You got a fresh one there? You just rip the hell out of it.
Rip the hell out of it. That's what those fish do.
If you look at these, this one has a really soft color, soft green, the chartreuse into the pink, and actually even like Chris said,
the action of the tail.
The elastic. I mean, incredible. I can grab it and really pull on it and go nuts with it. Now you look at this one. Now it's darker. The glitter seems to be more defined.
And it's harder.
But you don't see that transparency going from pink to chartreuse to green. To stretch it ain't gonna happen. I mean, you saw the other one stretch, that's it. So if a fish grabs it, it knows it's fake. I mean, it ain't gonna stretch much, or it's gonna pull it right out of its mouth. But nevertheless, now one other thing that I noticed is there's a top fin to hide your hook on this one too.
Yeah.
So it looks more like a shad.
Put your Procure in there.
Procure, holds it well.
Hides in there, and
this one doesn't have it.
The tail works so fast and so furious that tail is moving like that right there, constantly on the way back, okay?
Yep.
It looks just like that right there, no matter what, when you're reeling it back in. The bait that Frank is holding, the tail looks like this. It doesn't even move, okay?
they're stiff.
It's just stiff.
Yep.
And when a fish or a bait's swimming away, trying to get away, they don't look stiff, they look scared, their tail's moving as fast as they can. When I see a 36-inch snook, and I am 3 to 4 inches long, I'm giving it all I got, okay? Because that fish is ferocious.
Well, I'll tell you what, it works, and that's exactly what happened. You know, we were side by side fishing, working it the same way, and I finally gave up and said, I'll just go to these, what are they, Strike King, aren't they?
This is the package, folks,
Strike
right
King,
here.
and I went to them, they work great. Now, more than willing to always check anybody's lures. If you have a bait close to it, or you think you have a bait that's close to that, that'll work in Charlotte Harbor in this area, you know, send Chris an email, let him know on Facebook. I'm sure he'd be glad to fish the bait.
I'll be glad to try your bait out. If it catches fish, I'll get all excited about it. I love to catch fish.
Well, you know, the colors work, and like you said, you're working up and down the west wall. Now, let me ask you something. You said big snook, flounder. The west wall is big, Cape Hayes is big. Are you up there in Turtle Bay? Are you out there on the shoals? Where you at?
You know what? If you're familiar with Turtle Bay, go on back in there, because then you're going to get a little chance to get out of the winds, and you're going to have some really beautiful grass and sand holes, which is my recommendation. You just float across those flats in the Turtle Bay. If you're an experienced fisherman and you got a trolling motor or something, you want to get up by the bushes, go ahead, take a rep at it. You know, go down the shoreline, do like Chris does. Head down every shoreline. Every shoreline has a new adventure and a bigger fish for me to catch.
Well, that area is pretty sweet. I mean, even off Cape Hayes, I forget what it's called. Isn't there some wreckage down there, or an artificial reef just
We
off?
do have a reef that's off the corner of Cape Hayes Point. It's marked with some buoys out there. They're not that far apart. I've not really heard of anybody catching too much out there, but you know, I was really looking for bait today, just to try to see what kind of bait I could see moving. Still not seeing the bait. So the bait, I'm hearing all my captains, all my people who are fishing the bait are going down to Jug Creek.
Yep.
They're picking up some nice 3 to 4 inch pilchards down there. Everybody's talking about the threadies that are, you know, hand-sized threadies and stuff that they're fishing with. But the bait must be out there closer to the green water. That's one thing we get when we get this freshwater push. That pushes the bait out to where the green water's at. So.
Well, yeah, you have to remember too, you know, coming into Cape Hayes, and that's why I think the fishing gets so good this time of year around Cape Hayes. I always refer to it as a blue water convergence zone. Now, I know that's kind of a half-assed statement to make, but when you think about it, that's exactly what it turns out to be. When you have the Peace River and the Myakka River and all the fresh water flushing down into Charlotte Harbor this time of year, a lot of fresh water washing in. It gets really dirty and muddy up on the north end of Charlotte Harbor. And as you get out to Cape Hayes and that fresh water from Ponderosa, Pine Island, Bokeelia, Placide, all that washes through, the water just gets greener. Around the phosphate dust, you start getting into the blue water, and you know, and that's where I think the bigger fish head.
Different kind of fishing, though. I mean,
fishing.
let's get real. This whole harbor holds fish no matter where you're at. They don't all just pick up and move on out to Boca Grande during the summer just because everybody's out there in their bikinis.
Right? Yeah.
But,
it takes a little more.
You know, I mean, there's fish everywhere. I talked to the boys that love to fish up the Peace River, like I was talking with Bill yesterday, and he says he loves to fish way up the Peace River. In the summertime, that's all he knows. Big fish up the Peace River. Now that doesn't fit the bill for what it is, but Bill says it is, and he grew up doing it, and he says it's very good. So you have to go with what people tell you.
Now that's Bill.
That's Bill Daniels.
Oh, Bill,
makes
he's the gigantic snook.
That's the one that he only catches and makes gigantic snook.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I saw the pictures, I've seen the video. I've talked to Bill. We had a hard time meeting up, but we're definitely getting together. Might be tonight or tomorrow night, but we're gonna have it for this weekend. I see a lot of big snook locally, no doubt about it. And but when it comes to artificial bait, when I like to get something, you saw it with that the bass video I did with Chris the other day. When you have video going, you have an artificial bait on, especially top water or something, and you could get a large fish, a large predator, to grab that bait on video and reel it up to the shore show it, let it go, it says a lot. Because let's be honest, it's very easy to stage a photo. And anybody could catch a fish on live bait.
Oh, hold on. We have to clarify something though, Frank. That was not a 10-pound bass.
Oh no, that was a bit. What was that bass?
It was probably about six and a half.
Right.
But it was a very nice bass.
I was using a wide-angle lens, so it looked 10 pounds.
Whatever. It was a nice bass.
It was nice.
It was very fun to go over there and just key one up like that for the audience.
Well, that area is pretty sweet now. Maybe about 100 yards down from where we were, there's a little dock that Chris has, and he feeds the baby fish. So there's a lot of big ones that do hang around. So it's not like, well, happenstance. There's a good chance of getting a big fish.
Port Charlotte canals are loaded, folks.
They are
it isn't just my canal; they're loaded all over the place.
Well, his drains out. I mean, you come out from the back of like where Price is, 9 Mile and Price Street, and all that stuff drains back out and off into the harbor. So there's a lot of nice fresh water.
A lot of water in between here and there.
Well, I watched Scott Larson's been posting some great video too. He uses, I've got it over there. You got that sucker? I got this sucker here. He calls it his Precious. It's an impact lure, and he's really doing well right now on fresh water. I haven't had a chance to go out with Chris on fresh water yet, and I was talking to Ernie, is the guy that owns Impact, and he makes these by hand. And he says it's really a freshwater lure. Now it does great, I heard, on saltwater. I haven't tried it on saltwater either. I like the purple one, so I've been using that. Got some big jacks, a couple of nice snug, and doing good with the purple one, but we got to go out and do some freshwater soon.
Whatever works in freshwater, 9 times out of 10 works. I mean, you guys seen, I've been doing great with that Daniel's Deceiver out in saltwater. I've been getting explosive hits, and then as soon as we throw it in freshwater, now we're talking a bait, guys.
This is what I wanted. Yeah, this is what I wanted to hear.
It's longer than the fish's mouth is wide.
There's the point. Yep.
And this fish attacked it because we pissed it off. Basically, we just pissed it off.
Well, I tell you what, when you get a fish like that to take a bait that big. Now, when we left the garage, I said, you know what? I even thought he was going to grab the shad. He had like a fat shad that Daniel's Deceiver makes. That I think he got a nice redfish on it out there.
I've got everything.
A lot of stuff on it. So I thought he was going to grab that. It's about, what is that? About a 4-inch?
4-inch.
About a big fat one though. And so instead he grabbed the big long one.
I'll say it's 8-9 inches.
It's huge. I'll show you again in the video.
It's called the glass minnow, and it's what's funny about this, guys, is my favorite lure is a Strike King, and this Strike King lure is called a glass minnow. So guess what?
I didn't even know that. Is that right?
I didn't know that. I mean, this is revealing here because this morning, when you see the photos, you're gonna see my first big snook of the morning. This morning, I'm gonna say probably around 8:30 this morning. Kaboom! Humongous explosion.
I have the picture. You'll be watching it while we're talking.
Probably on the edge of your seat, running through the mangroves, fighting, coming, flipping up in the air.
Westwall.
We're
about
now this one is a secret spot. Wink, wink. And, every piece of shoreline is a secret spot, folks.
Sure.
Okay, Charlotte Harbor is loaded with fish. We were down around halfway point at this point in time in the morning, and what an explosion! What a fight! 10-pound test. I got this huge lure on because I had it on the stinking
10 pound.
Remember, I tied it on the other night.
The little one?
So I had it on the little rod, 10-pound
sweet.
test, and I've got this humongous fish on going. Ah!
Would you have a fluoro leader? How big was it? 30, that long?
Yeah. Way shorter than what this fish could damage, okay?
I saw the fish swallowed a good chunk of that.
I mean, with the amount of snook that I land on a daily basis, I figure it out. Folks, when you get a big fish on like that, you don't want to put a lot of rock and roll pressure on it. You want to hang on to it. You want to play the banjo on the string. Get it like this. It's heading for the cover. You can tell it's going to trash you in a second. It's taking you into the junk. Start playing the banjo. Ding, 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 ding. And that fish
This is Kentucky. This ain't fishing stuff.
That fish will stop, get on its tail, and come right off that bank. Because for some reason, that little tinging noise is like you getting your tooth drilled at the dentist. It don't like it. And it stops, it shakes its head, and it turns around. Hey, I got the pictures to prove it, so I can tell you right now, I know how to land these snook.
It's scary because a long time, had it been at least 10 years ago, he comes by and there's a big storm coming up and it's been dry and I'm like, thank God we're going to get some rain. He's like, nah man, we're probably not going to get this. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? Look at the radar, man. Big storms coming right up the coast. We're gonna get slammed. He's like, nah, this is the land between two rivers. We're probably this time of year, you know, that's why the Indians called this the land between two rivers, you know, the Peace River.
The
and
burial
Wabaca.
ground, the legend of Indians is they bury their dead between the two rivers. And they love this. This is the area, man.
Storm comes and it just breaks up and goes on both sides of the river and passes right over. I'm like, oh, gee. All right, so you say you play the banjo. Bing, bing, bing.
Play the
And that
banjo.
stops them?
What it does is it upsets the snook. Like I said, it's like sitting in a chair at the dentist office and then crank that drill up. First of all they gotta do is turn that drill on, and I get a little
I'm not
nervous,
there.
okay?
You gotta
And then
go knockout,
once they put it in my mouth and they start with that drilling on my tooth, I want to run out of that dentist office in a heartbeat. So this is what the snook does. They stop going toward their home. These snook have bit your lure. They're heading back home. They're like, I'm going to go see mama because something's wrong. They're going back into the mangroves. They're going back in their habitat. And when you start tinging them, it upsets them, it spooks them.
I'm not doubting you, I'll tell you, 'cause I've seen it work.
And they run out into cover. They run out into the open area and they shake their head and they try to get rid of what's in their face.
Yeah.
And that's when you wear them out. You just go ahead and let them run.
So you can actually
and
redivert
gas
them
them.
from the mangroves.
Gas them right then and there. Let them go ahead and run. Go ahead and put some pressure on them. Then let them run, and then you'll wear them out. Snook have 2 runs. If you try to put a snook in the boat before those 2 runs are over with, you're gonna get an exciting boating finish.
There you go. Now you were at what part of the West Wall? You said a super secret place, but mid.
Nah, I was from Cape Hayes. We fished our way down from
Just down the
point to
wall.
Cape Hayes all the way down. We made it to about halfway point by the time, as you can tell, Daddy-O got cooked and I was sweating. It was hot.
Oh,
We
yeah.
live in paradise, but it is
It's
hot for a
cooking.
reason.
Yeah, it hits 93 degrees. You're burning
Yesterday
the
hit
butt off.
99 degrees, folks.
No,
as far as the reality of it, like on the boat, what you're out there on the deck of I do screens and stuff. So yesterday we were doing screens, and it was hot.
Oh yeah, you gotta be wrapped up. You go out there in this heat down here, even if you're used to it. Man, I have dark skin. I wrap up. I cover up. I don't care what you're doing. You gotta wrap up because you will get burned. You'll end up with skin cancer. Got a family member that has to be treated about every month or so, and
Everybody does anymore.
it's bad. So you got to be careful. You got to cover up. But
I got a little fishing report though too from my guys who are fishing the Port Charlotte Bridge on a regular basis.
Talk to me.
I
My
got a-
dad did good too.
I got a
gotta
gang.
tell you
I
how.
got
My
a
dad
gang
was
of
out
them
there.
right now. That like 10 of them that are up there on the bridge.
Cool.
And these guys are spotting triple tail.
Triple tail of the bridge.
Yes, they're spotting. They're
My
walking.
father said that. I told him he had to be wrong. You're really?
No. Listen, they're walking along the bridge. They're spotting these triple tail. They're dropping their lure down, letting the current take it out to them, and snagging them.
You're
And
kidding me.
and they're catching monster guys. I don't got them on film yet, but they got triple tail that are like
Oh,
this.
well, I'm gonna walk the bridge. I got a new
Best
camera. I'm gonna
eating
walk
fish.
and talk. You know, gotta walk and talk to really get the story out there. But my old man came by. I think it was yesterday morning, and yeah, it's probably cat fur, freaking cats everywhere. But yesterday
But
morning,
Cobia also too.
Cobia too. But he said, he's like, hey, I've been fishing over by. He has a boat over there at Punta Gorda Marina, so he just zips out and comes out to the
Oh,
bridge.
right there,
and-
nice.
Yeah, so now he's gotten into this thing where he trolls up and down between the
What he
bridges.
should be
and-
doing with the Daniels.
Right. Well, he's been using
He
just
needs a Daniels.
He got one of those. They have that big discount bucket down there at Walmart right now for like $1.50 or something. So we bought one of
Chinese people eat the heads, Frank. You
What-
gotta get him no Chinese lures. He needs a Daniels receiver.
those. Absolutely, but we're talking about my dad and Spanish mackerel. They'll hit a beer can if you put a hook on it. The mackerel out there, it's the truth. If it's shiny, if it's moving through the water, they're gonna hit it. So don't waste a good
Yeah.
quality lure
Just put
on
some
the
wire.
teeth.
Just put some wire on that lure before you send it out there.
man, I
the
tell you.
mackerel are out there. Put the wire on it and start off with the wire.
But he told me that. He said he stopped and talked to a guy over by the bridge that was fishing on a boat, and the guy said he was getting a couple of triple tail big ones. And I'm like, are you sure? Are
Yeah.
you sure the guy did? Maybe they got a tilapia that went wild in the salt. I don't know.
No, and you would think so too, right?
But they
Tilapia.
really tip
No,
triple
they're-
tail, huh?
My
Beautiful.
buddy Peter Scazzo, bless his soul, just passed away. He last year this time was sending me pictures of big triple tail where he was pulling up to the bridge and him and Dell were up there just knocking these triple tail
Were they
out.
shrimping? What are they doing?
They take
Crabs?
one Pete Escazo, he was just using a piece of bait.
Is that right?
You know,
Just cut bait?
you just throw a piece of bait up there with just a really light weight so you can cast it. You really want, but triple tail are tough, and they're going to always be around these buoys. I know we don't have very many buoys.
I've heard that
you
too,
know,
same thing.
they're definitely going to hold to a buoy. They're going to hold some kind of structure. They want to set off the structure, but so do cobia. So these two are like running hand in hand right now. So
Well, you see a lot of people sitting around like outside of Fisherman's Village. There's the Ford radar buoy out there, the red ones with the three
exactly,
poles.
all the poles are
Yeah,
right down
yeah,
that
right down
line.
the line.
So,
So, yeah,
you
you
just
can
go
get into
around
those.
those and you look. Those guys with the tower boats, man, they're just like, okay, there it is.
No, yeah, drop
That's
some
why
bait
the
down.
captains have the towers that see much better. You know,
Yeah,
much
so,
better
but you're not
fishing.
seeing bait out there. You're up and down the
Yeah,
west.
you know, I will tell you this. I did see bait. I seen a really nice pod on the outside of the Mayaca cutoff this morning. Very good sign. It was a really nice pod of threadies. So pretty soon, I'm gonna see my threadies back up around there. You see pods of threadies, you're gonna see pods of fish. I mean, that's just how it goes. They run hand in hand.
Big water change now. Hey, you know what? That's up and down Florida, at least on the Gulf Coast right now. I'm sure also on the Space Coast. But I was talking to Bruce Nelson. He's a bicycling, kayaking fisherman. Great guy. He's over in Fort Myers, veteran, and he fishes up and down the Caloosahatchee around the power plant north of that. And he said, you know, they're just catfish every place right now up in that area. And I think it's the same effect as we get these rains that wash all that fresh water from inland out into, you know, the Gulf of Mexico. The catfish get washed down. The
Right,
bait
catfish,
fishing, you know,
guys.
it's just-
Hey, listen, if there's that many catfish in an area, guess what? What eats catfish? Not humans, unless they're, you know, certain people. Certain people do eat catfish.
Hey,
But-
Southerners love them. You guys, let me
Listen.
tell you something. Yeah, there's nothing better. And I was in Georgia, and I had some catfish. I can't
No,
even
no,
remember the name
no.
of it.
We're talking sail cats here, not real freshwater good eating
Oh, the
catfish.
channel cat. I'm not a big.
We're
My dad
talking-
will eat them. I mean, he pissed me off one day. I'm out there. I swear to, we're out fishing,
Listen,
and
sorry, Dad.
he can't watch this because he can't hear nothing anyway. But don't tell him. But no, he knows. He'd laugh his ass off. We're out fishing. We're up in Alligator Creek, and I was using some electric chickens, and just like any artificial bait, you know, anchoring and sitting there is going to get you nowhere. You got to be moving around. You got to really get, you know,
Be in the
change
right
things up.
spot.
Got to move. And Dad, you know, he got to anchoring with this big boat. He's got the big old jalopy boat. You know,
chain.
you know, it's beautiful. It's a nice boat. It's a what do you call
It's meant to walk around. It's open fisherman, right?
Well, it's
open fisherman with a rail around the front.
It's 18 foot. It's got a small rail around the front. It's you know, a bow rider, and you know, it's a really nice boat. Got 150 on it. But when you start getting into the canals, it's tough to maneuver those suckers. They're big and heavy. And so
They're meant for anchoring and fishing.
anchor down, he starts catching catfish, and he's just happy as hell. I mean, he's catching. He's like, these are big ones, and I'm like, oh, geez, it's like in 45 minutes, it's another catfish. Oh, I got two, one on each.
Yeah,
pole.
there's a rule that after you get the third catfish, and if you put the first boat, there's a fight because you can't have a catfish in a boat. Catfish will send you to the hospital.
Oh yeah.
If you put a catfish in your boat, you will experience pain like you've never seen before.
Another thing, I keep telling you, he's on Coumadin, right? He's got to take
If you
blood
got
thinner.
stuck with one of those suckers, man.
Well, you know, you're on blood. They go, I want to get one of those, you know, those seam nets and collect. I said, you can't get out on these flats and start pulling the net around and walk. You're gonna step on anything and bleed to death just trying to get back in the boat. Oh no, I'm like, oh God, Dad, please.
Yeah, well, he lived down in paradise for quite a while.
He moved down to Honduras about 20 years ago, and down there's no regulation. They laugh when you talk about, you know, fish limits and sizes. You know, the natives in Honduras just start laughing. But, you know, it was nothing to get Bonita, huge
Gorgeous
Bonita.
water,
for,
though, guys. I'm talking
Beautiful
untouched
water.
water compared to what we fish in.
Well, their visibility is like 150, 200
I
foot
know.
down, you know, on the reef, just beautiful. But anyway, so, you know, he was used to eating just about anything out of the ocean. He was in the merchant marine, so to him, catfish are like a delicacy. And
Well, so are they to cobia
well,
and tarpon.
Yep.
Cobia and tarpon love some catfish.
Mm-hmm.
Take that catfish, guys. It's got 3 prongs that stick out like this, okay? Right behind those prongs, you want to take your knife and you want to ring behind the head, and you want to pull that head off, but you want to leave the guts in there. Turn around.
This isn't for the faint of heart.
Listen, turn around and take about a 6/0, 7/0 circle hook and hook it through the tail. Throw that out where you know there's going to be cobia or tarpon in the area, and put it in the pole holder with a clicker on it, because it will scream. First time me and the boy tried this, we listened to an old cracker tell us this, and I looked at Colin and I said, "Do you believe that?" He goes, "Nah." And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what," I said, "the only way to prove it's right or wrong, we catch a catfish tonight, we'll know God wants us to try a catfish, right?"
Go.
First fish right off the bat. Plink, here comes a catfish.
That's not too hard to do,
Right? I know, right? Well, God's
We'll call it a miracle, though,
God
because we
supplies.
appreciate everything.
That's right. God knows what He's doing, Frank. Don't mess
We
around with
appreciate
God.
everything. We
Okay,
need
so
points.
we
Don't
got
wait
the
around.
catfish and we didn't get nothing else. That's it. Here's your sign. Here's your sign. Wham. Okay, so we go over to the bridge and Colin says, "I'm gonna try that catfish." I said, "You saved that catfish?" He goes, "Oh yeah." So I cut the catfish up. I go ahead and hang the guts out. Get on the other side of the El Jabin Bridge, guys. I'm talking not a great place to go catch tarpon or whatever. No, there is tarpon there. I throw this out with my nice brand new 65-pound test braid, 300 yards, spooled up on my really nice rig. And hand to Colin, send it out the back. He casted it 10 feet out the back of the boat, and he's content. I'm content. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start throwing my snook lure over here real
How deep
quick.
was it there, though?
It's right at the El Jabin, right at the pier.
Okay. Yeah.
We're right up against the pier, okay? And 5 minutes, not even. Zzz, zzz. I'm like, oh wow, something picked that thing up. I'm thinking, shark picked it up.
Sure, that's what I
Jewfish picked it up.
Sure, out there it could be
Oh,
anything, yeah.
Goliath grouper picked it
That'd
up.
be fun.
Goliath grouper down there at this place,
Oh,
guys.
I've dove there. I've seen
They're
them.
this big around.
I've dove there.
They're like from me to the wall over there. I mean, so I'm thinking he's got one of those big old monsters, or he's got a big snook, or he's got something on there. Oh no. About a 6.5, 7 foot tarpon rises straight up behind the boat.
On the catfish?
Boom! On the catfish.
You're kidding me.
And just hammer down and spools every last inch of my 65-pound test braid. Gone. See ya. And there was nothing.
Did the reel stop it anyway?
Hold on. First of all, Colin was probably around 12, maybe 13 years old. Maybe no, I think almost he was 12. And he's doing everything he can to hang on to the rod
And not
as it's
fall off.
screaming out the line. And I'm telling him, bow, whatever, you're listening.
Sure.
Because this tarpon's coming up and dancing, going down,
There's
coming
big
up
fish
and
out there.
dancing. I mean, it was gorgeous. Colin doesn't know it to this day, because I let him have it for losing my 300 yards, because it went right off the end of that rock. But that was awesome.
Yeah, sweet.
That was so worth the 300 yards of line.
Sweet.
I was like, man, now me and the boy have a story forever.
And that's
on
catfish. That's catfish.
On a stinking catfish.
A fresh catfish
Just
stripped
a
down and hooked.
catfish, you gotta cut the prongs off and the head, pull the hard head off, leave the guts hanging. It's the essential ingredient.
So you take pretty much the skeleton out and you use
You
the body
pop
and
the
guts.
skeleton off, but I just read an article this week where the guy cleaned a cobia and had the full skeleton of a catfish in
Oh,
there.
is that right?
They'll eat the whole thing. They're not shy.
I was gonna say, I saw a post on Facebook. I don't know who it was. It might have been Scott. One of the captains here caught it. Probably Scott, because he catches Scott Schilling.
Yeah.
I think it's Real Addiction Charters. But he catches a lot of big Goliath grouper. He charters offshore, and you got to get out there for some of these big ones. But I think he pulled one up that had a spearhead in it, where a really bold spear fisherman tried to shoot one of these and pull it out of a rock. And it had, the sucker was just gigantic, and it had this spear kind of just getting ready to pop out of its head where it was, pushing it out. But they are enormous out here. I'll tell you what, even on El Jabin, they are enormous.
They're enormous pests, if you ask me.
Well,
The Goliath grouper are just big reef pests. All they do is
they're super regulated, isn't it? You can't even take them out of the water.
they don't want you to touch these things because of one idiot in our past who went out there and shot 7 massive Goliath grouper, and they put a huge ban on it and didn't put a regulation on it for a long time. Now I understand there's going to be idiots. There's always going to be an idiot who doesn't want to follow the rules. But to ban it for everybody else, you're really messing up the fishing for everybody else, because these fish are enormous. When they get on these reefs, they eat everything.
Oh yeah.
They don't just eat this. You know what? They don't eat the lionfish. They're like, oh, those
Yeah,
things
right.
taste bad. Those things taste bad.
They go down rough. Usually get stuck right about here and stay there. But yeah,
Hairball.
that's a mess. But yeah, it is. You know, I think anything when you start messing with the ecosystem and you start regulating one thing over-regulating, you know, it creates an imbalance. But again, great fishing right now. So you hit the
Snook came back, boy. They took him away from us for a couple of years,
Now the
3 years, and man, they came back
like
really
beautifully.
solid.
And the weather's been sweet. There haven't been any really hard freezes in the past, what, about 5 years or so?
I don't know.
Not hard.
3 years
About
ago
3 years.
is when they got them.
So, you know, but definitely populations are back, you know, and there's a lot of conservation. People are definitely aware of what's going on and run around with cameras. And, you know, if you mess up, there's a guy just down in, I think it was off of somewhere around Miami or Homestead, and they caught him with, I think, 15 gigantic ribs.
Really?
And I guess he tries to
that's-
sell them to local restaurants, but that's outright
What are you gonna make a
poaching.
fish dip with that? I mean, come on, the big
No.
reds aren't good eating anyways, guys. Leave them
leave
go.
'em in
Let
there.
them go breed.
But there's a market for everything. And,
That's
you know,
why a 27-inch red is our keeper limit, because anything over 27-inch starts getting wormy.
Well, they're drunk. They're
Start getting, you know, first of all, they get wormy. Okay, and second of all, they start getting really tough, and they don't taste that.
No,
They're
they
really
get fishy.
and tough, and
Oily.
it's just let them go, guys. Those are our breeders.
Yeah, the big ones do. And, you know, keep in mind, the further up the river you go, the more fresh water there is. Big reds are up there that mate, breed, and spawn, and they get super wormy up there, especially when they're stagnant. Now the water's moving, so like Chris said, they're out around Cape Hayes or a little bit further down Charlotte
Reds are
Harbor.
beautiful, guys.
But they are beautiful right now.
Right now,
They're
the
beautiful.
fish is just phenomenal. So
Well, we're gonna go out and we're gonna do some fishing. I have a lot of great updates. As a matter of fact, on the website, we've kind of been pulling back a little bit to get our video going. I got a lot of cameras out. We had to send a couple back because they just didn't work right, and so we're gonna have replacements for those pretty soon. I'm setting up a really cool photo library. It's actually a photo and a video portfolio, so that our hosts and our pro staffers could get in here and they could upload new pictures every day. And look, my dog come to say hi.
Hi,
And
doggy.
that girl.
oh, doggy in the picture.
Captain Dwayne will see you. Captain Dwayne, we adopted her from Captain Dwayne, you know, monstertarpon.com. If you want to catch big tarpon, and he's doing overnight. Have you seen that St. Hatteras? Yeah, he's monstertarpon.com. Captain Dwayne French. He charters he catches everything.
Jimmy's
Redfish.
Mr. Tarpon.
Oh my
They're all-
God!
their whole
it is-
group is
that's that whole bunch is just wow. But
They're
Captain,
killing it, guys, right
Oh,
now.
man,
I'm talking
Captain
to these
He's
guys on the
outdated,
side.
right?
These guys, I'm telling them, they're killing it in the tarpon right now.
great, and he just got I don't know if it's in the water yet. He got all the artwork done. I mean, incredible. That Hatteras, I think it's a
Yeah.
50 or 58
Good time.
foot big Hatteras.
Good time, Captain Dwayne's
And
nice, easygoing guy.
oh, he's a great guy. I've been fishing his whole life.
Knows the area like the back of his hand.
And knows fish, like you say, like Noah. He could just draw fish to his boat. It's incredible.
That's right.
But
Come on to me. I have clients.
But the Hatteras, he's going to be doing overnight trips offshore, way out there. So he's going to be heading out to 150, 200 foot of water. I think he can get he's got to have 2 captains overnight, so I think he can get like 6 or 7 people on the boat, and he's got ready to set up for like 3 or 4 days if you want to. So that should be awesome. And I'm gonna get Chris to take me out fishing, maybe tomorrow if the weather lets us.
Listen, we got to get some video. You know, folks, if we'd had the video camera on the water today, you guys would already be buying your ticket and be heading to Port Charlotte, Florida. I promise you.
Well,
There's houses for sale here. You'd be buying.
Now, this is what we're doing. There's a lot of local talent, homemade lures, stuff like that, that are really nice. They work well, that are really making statewide and national news, really doing well across the country. And people like Daniels, even Impact, even Banks, you know, they make Banks, you know, people know Banks because he's just been a tournament fisherman for a long time, you know, a legend really in Florida. But you know, a lot of these guys, they just come up with great designs, and so we like to see them on video. We want to see them working, catching fish. Not a staged photo, not something that somebody caught with a shrimp or a chunk of bait, then took the hook out and stuck a lure and gave you a big smile. We don't want one of those. So we want the video of the fish hitting the lure, how it's worked, reeled into the bank, held up, and
How
then
about,
let
how about
go.
this one today with the snook going through the air like this with that big Daniels deceiver in its mouth?
And I want no, but
Yeah. That you can't take that back, man. That is,
I told Chris, I'm like, you know what? I got to send 2 of these, or actually 3 of these cameras out to the other side of Florida. 2 of them I got to send back. So let's hold off. And he has like the best fishing experiences of his
it'll
life.
happen. 365, Frankie. 365.
Yeah, they're always out there. But so we're gonna get together probably tomorrow, do some fishing, get some video and pictures. Probably we ought to do a little
Pictures from
tournament.
today?
I'll verse you.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
do
we're
you wanna
$5
do?
a fish.
$5? No money. You're nuts. No.
Hey, we can make money at this, folks.
No. I'll
Nah,
pay
you know
for
what?
A Gatorade.
Well, we'll just play it up for the camera. Because you know what? I have been beaten before. Once.
Oh.
Yeah.
But when he was a kid, his dad gave him a beating for mouthing off.
No, Richie. That one show I did with him, he was throwing
Did he?
that glass minnow. He
Now
killed
which Richie? Richie Daniels or Richie your
Richie, my buddy that we
Yeah,
did the show
okay.
with. I showed him with the bit. He
Yeah.
beat me throwing that glass minnow. He killed
That
me.
was a Daniel Deceiver.
Out of the
glass.
back of the boat too, boy. That's usually don't happen to me.
So you got first cast, first hit, first choice, and he caught it out of the back of the boat.
You can call all that you want, but no. Any cast is a good cast in paradise, folks.
Well, if you reel the lure in, you get your bait back, you get a fish at the end of the day, or not, it's still a good day. You know, it's fun.
We're gonna catch fish. I promise you. I think what we should do is just end this video right now and go fishing until we start the next video.
Oh no, it's getting ready to rain. I don't have rain.
No. It's always getting ready to rain in paradise.
It's
You gotta-
true. No, it's true. This time
You gotta water the plants.
All right, we're definitely gonna go now. We're gonna get together probably in a day or so. We're gonna get on a more regular schedule, get some video going, some shows going, at least once a week local update for each area of Florida. So Charlotte County, Pasco, Cocoa Beach, Fort Myers, we got more coming in. I've been so busy updating the website. I've got a photo journal for our show hosts. I have a video journal for them. So you can see all these guys fishing these baits, go through photos, go through video of it. Also, I already set up the store so that we could actually have these baits available for you to buy. You can look at the video, watch it catching fish, buy the bait, check it out. You get it right from the manufacturer. We're not actually shipping and handling money. We're just passing that transaction off to
right.
their website.
Getting this lure in your hands, guys, so you guys can start catching fish like us.
And you're going to see a lot of guys here saying that. He's going to say it about Daniels. You're going to see Scott Larson talking about impact lures. So far, I like Daniels. I like impact lures. I like Banks. I ain't seen none I don't like. So we'll see what happens.
You know what? Hey, if it catches fish, I like it.
Yeah,
If it
yeah,
don't
cool.
catch fish, it's going in the tackle box,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna see it on my line.
Well, this guy Mike over at Aqua Spoon, I think it's Aqua Dream Spoons. He does these really cool spoons. I think he's in Norfolk. You know what I'm talking about? He's up in
Spoons are
Norfolk.
nice.
Now he's got a nice spoon with a crab on it. The artwork's incredible.
Ooh, really?
Oh yeah, and it's actually a weedless with a crab on it. That's beautiful. Now I want Mike to either set us up so that we could demonstrate it, and then either send off the buyer off to him on his
Try it
website
out
or
with some
whatever.
blue crab sauce on that thing.
Well, a little Procure blue
That's what I'm
crab
talking
and
about.
across the
Just
flats or under the mangroves.
little slow reel across the flats and stuff.
Well, it's really nice. It's got the nice, the crab, almost a mirror of a crab. Looks just like a crab that's just, getting ready to take off and swim.
Well, crab is sort of spoon-like,
Definitely, and
And
nice
they are
flash to it,
delicious
so.
too. I'm thinking about some garlic crabs right now.
Well, don't scratch yourself while you're thinking about crabs, please. Not on camera. Jesus. See, that's why I can't put you on camera.
That's it.
I'm crab.
Take me anywhere.
Yeah.
Crabs.
You want to laugh?
I remember that.
I'm talking to an old guy on the pier in Englewood, and I mean he starts going off on this. This guy's catching. He's using fiddler crabs and catching sheephead, catching snapper, catching everything there. And he goes off on getting crabs on the pier and all these crab jokes from 1920 something. And it's like, oh geez, the oldest fishing jokes in the world are crab jokes.
Oh yeah.
It was bad. It was bad. But anyway, yep, we'll get back to you guys probably in a day or so with some great fish videos, some great fish, some great fish stories.
Oh man.
And we're starting to get it together, so check us out, stay tuned, and we have more stuff coming.
See you guys.
See ya.